What is up, guitar legends? Sam Wild here. We're looking at the Spiderman themes today in a fingerstyle. It's really fun to play and it's not too tricky. It's kind of beginner to intermediate kind of standard. You're going to need the Capo on fret 4 before we begin. Standard tuning as well. Now we have two sections to learn for this piece. Pretty much there's an A section and a B section. It's kind of in a standard jazz form. So we have A, B, A. We're going to have a little ending on that final A section, but apart from that, the A section just repeats. So let's start with the A section, the beginning of this piece. If you have a look at this tab, can you see how it's 12 bars? Because it's basically like a 12-bar blues. Okay, each section is a 12-bar blues. So if you look at the bass notes, we just have right for that first line. You're just playing open strings with the thumb, right? So just practice that first. A, E, A, E, A, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then the second line, can you see how we have the D string instead? For 2 bars, then it goes back down again to A. Right, so you can hear the kind of 12-bar blues working through this already, but always play the bass note with the thumb, and then you can use index and middle finger for the rest of the song. Okay, so let's start with this first bar. You might also want to have your pinky resting on the body, just so you have an anchor point. It means you don't get lost as much with the right hand. Okay, so the first part of this song we have right, so play G2 with the middle finger here. You can use that with your index finger. Right, and we're also going to play the A string at the same time. Right, then you can leave that pushed in, by the way, if you want to have a nice sustained feel. You don't have to. Then we have index finger on B1. So again, A string at the same time. And you can use your index finger again for both of those strings. Alright. Then we're going to have middle finger pluck the open E string. Okay. So you leave these pushed in. We play this. Alright. Now you're going to have to play another A string straight after, like so. Right, then we're going to play the E string for that very last note. Okay, Spiderman, Spiderman. So the second bar, we do pretty much the same rhythm, right? We just have a few different notes. So this time, we're going to have third finger here on B3, right? Then B1 again, and then G2 to finish, dun, 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 like that. With the bass notes. Alright, so all together so far, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now can you see how this third bar is the same as the first bar? Right, but we just have this extra note in there, E1, and then you can see there's like a line, a curvy line. That just means we're going to do a pull off. It means they're connected in some way. So the best way to connect these is to do a pull off. Right, so now this is tricky because when we pull off, we're going to also hit the A string. Now when you do your pull off, make sure that you pull the finger down, don't just take it off. Right, make sure you pull the string down and you get a little bit more ring out of that. If I take it off, it's quiet. But if I pull it, it's loud, right? So you play the note, and then as you pull off, you also pluck the A string with the thumb. So just do this so your brain gets used to that, right? You also notice the first finger has to move down from B1 to E1. So the whole bar. Okay. Then the fourth bar, can you see, is exactly the same as the second bar. Right, second and fourth bar are the same, so we don't have to learn anything new there. All right, so this whole line, let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then we get to the second line. The second line is going to start on D. Now, this time, remember, thumb is on the D string. So it's just moved down a string, basically, but it's the same pattern, luckily, so the thumb doesn't have to do too much different here. Now, we're going to start with middle finger on B3. The reason we're doing middle finger is because then we can stretch across with the pinky easier. If you use your third finger, the stretch is horrible. Middle finger, much nicer. Okay, so we have at the top B3, E1, E5 with the fourth finger there. So middle finger, first finger, fourth finger. Right, with the bass notes. Now, if you want to, you can actually hold in that first note and just leave it there like so. Because then if you leave it ringing, it kind of fills more space. It sounds quite nice. But it is trickier, so you don't have to do that. You can take it off if you want to, okay? It's just an option. Next bar, we have nice bluesy kind of note. All right. So again, use third finger here, not pinky, just third finger on fret 4, the E string. Then again, index can be our first finger. Then you can use third finger this time on B3. So both bars all together are 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you'll notice the last two bars are pretty much the same that we had in the first line, right? So we still have apart from that part, right, which is slightly different. Okay, so there's a lot of repetition here, which is nice. So again, third bar is the same. Then that part's the same too. But the very last kind of two notes there, we have A string and E1 at the same time, and then we take it off and pluck again. Which brings us into the third line. Now for the third line, we're going to have E7, right? So you need to bring the hand up after you play those last two notes. Look out, he's a Spiderman. Right, this line doesn't have too much going on here, right? So the E7 chord looks like this. You have finger 2 and finger 1, right, on A2 and G1. Now I just play down, down, up, down, up, down, down. But you can just make this more simple. You can just play 1, 2, 3, 4, ba. Just do 5 down strums. Look out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's the Spiderman. right? You can just do 5 strums, but I like to play down, down, up, down, up, down, down. So I just add a few up strokes in the middle there. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, 2, 3, 4. When you go down, use your nails on your fingers. When you go up, you can use your thumb. So down is fingernails, up is thumbnail. Now, it's hard to then play a note when you've just flung your fingers through the strings, and then you have to suddenly get to the B string. So try and make that last strum something that you can then get to the B string. Right, so you kind of land just so that you can get to the B string quite easily. Now you can see we have B3. You can use the 3rd finger there. Then to make things easy, we're going to play B1, and then you can see we have the curved line. That means we're going to connect them somehow. The best thing to do is a hammer on. So we just bring the 3rd finger in like that. Dun, 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 dun. We don't have to pluck that note, we just bring the finger down, right? Dun, 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 dun. And then again, B1 and G2 at the end there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. So when you finish bar 2, you can keep the fingers pushed in like so. Just so they're ringing. That sounds quite nice. So we'll do 2 A strings notes, and then you just hammer on the 3rd finger. You don't even play the E string with the thumb. You just bring the 3rd finger in, and then you take it off and play the A string again, like that. Okay, now you don't actually have to play that note. If you find that too hard, you can just miss it out. Just do the basic A string notes. Right, but if you can hammer in that 3rd finger, it sounds a little bit nicer. For those of you that want to take your playing to the next level, make sure you sign up to my premium membership website. You'll gain access to all my backing tracks, all of my lessons, and I'll teach you how to improvise, solo, and play advanced chords. Enjoy the rest of your lesson, guys. Alright guys, that's the A section covered. We're going to play that 3 times, so most of the song you've already learned. Okay, let's just try and play through the whole of the A section nice and slowly together. There is a play along at the end of the video, so you don't have to do this now, but if you want to, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go around the A section again. So if you look at this whole thing, you can see everything is the same, right? The whole A section is the same, except the last 2 beats, because we need to get into the B section somehow, right? We need to get into that section. So we have this lead in. Dun, 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 bum, bum, now this B section is only 8 bars, okay? The A section is 12 bars, but this B section is only 8 bars. And once we've learned this, we're almost there with the whole song, all right? So again, finish the A section off the same. the last two notes, we'll do something a little different. Right, you can see we have the A and the E string at the same time. Then we do it again, but with E1. Nice and simple, right? Bum, bum, bum. But then we have to get into our G chord shape to start the B section. So my advice is, almost have the G chord ready as you're about to play it. You see I'm kind of stretching to position. As soon as that note's down, I'm almost there anyway. If you're like this, with the fingers hidden away, there's no way you're going to get there in time. So have them kind of ready, then it's easier to transition into the B section, right? So now this B section is hard. I would say this B section is a little harder than the A section actually. Right, but luckily it's only 8 bars and there is some repetition, so it won't take that long to learn. Okay, the first 2 bars, for example, are the same on the first and the second line. Okay, so let's start with the first bar. We want to play at least the top E string and the low E string. Okay, but if you want to, you can pluck 4 strings all at once. You can use these 3 fingers, 1, 2, and 3, on those bottom 3 strings. Right, dun, 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 like that. There's a moving bass line. Okay, so the thumb can go little arpeggio on the E string, A2, D string, back up, A2. Right? On the last note, can you see we have 2 at the same time? So we've gone from this position to here. You can take the 3rd finger and the pinky off for this note. You see that I take them off, which allows me to kind of rotate the wrist a little bit. Yeah. So just work on that. A little bit of coordination to be thinking about there, because taking these 2 fingers off, but you keep the middle finger down is a little confusing. Then to the next bar we want to add 3rd finger here. So we get our C chord, A3. So just practice going into that bar. Again. Now we have this G note, G string, in between the bass note, and you can add finger 2 here to E3 as well. So all together, and again. Then we have pinky here on B3, 1st finger on B1. So you can work on this bar on its own. Do it even slower. Right. When both of these 2 bars sound pretty good on their own, you can try and join them together. The 3rd bar, we have -7 flat 5 chord, very nice. The most important notes are just these 2, the top note and the low note. So if you struggle playing the whole chord, don't panic, just play the bass note and the high note, alright? But if you want to, whole chord looks like this. Again, we do all 4 strings using thumb 1, 2, and 3, alright? Pinky can still be sitting here on the guitar body. And then we'll play the bass note again with the thumb. Then we need to slide over E7 flat 9 chord, which is very nice. A little tricky, you have to sort of flatten that first finger so it covers 2 notes at the same time. Again, if this is too tricky, just play the bass note and the top note. You can always do that. Like that. So this whole bar, you can just do 2 notes at a time. Right, much easier. Just do the lowest note and the highest note. Okay, whenever there's lots of notes, you can always do that, just lowest and highest note. That's fine. If you want to play the whole chord, we play, the bass note is the E string, so bear in mind the thumb has moved up, but the other 3 are the same strings, right? Then the first finger needs to come away because we have open B there, and then we can bring it back in again. So like this, and then we play the A string, and we want to move to our A minor chord shape once we've done that. So you can see, if you look at the chord hand, as I play the A string, I bring these 2 fingers in so it's an A minor shape. Okay, because for the 4th bar we have the A minor chord. And again. Again, if this is too tricky, remember, just do low and high note. Much easier, or the full chords. So you can see the 4th bar we have just this kind of alternating bass note, G string, bass note. Right. Nice and simple. Coming out the 3rd bar. Okay, then can you see this is the same as we had before? Bum 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 bum. Right, even these leading notes, bum bum, at the end of that 4th bar there, we've already played that, right, when we came into the B section. Okay, so this leads us into the 2nd line of the B section, which is the same. But we're going to finish the last 2 bars slightly different. Right, so a little tricky. I think the first line was harder than this part, but here we go. Again, if you find this part too hard, remember again, just do bass note and top note, like so. Perfectly fine to just have 2 notes at once, right? With the full chords though, it does sound better. So the first chord is E7 again, but this time we have the pinky here on B3 because that is what's being sung, that's in the melody, so we have to include that. Then we have F major. Okay, so you can see we just have D3, G2, B1, right? The thumb is covering that bass note, okay? If you want to simplify it, you can take the 3rd finger away and just not play that note. You can do it like that. And just play 3 notes, like so. Okay, or as I said before, you can just play single notes, which is fine too. Alright, so we play all 4, then the bass note again with the thumb, like so. Alright, then F, and then you can see we're going to have to play have the thumb and B3 at the same time, right? So as soon as you play that last note, you need to move back to the E7 shape again, because we're essentially going E, F, E, right? That's what we're doing here for these two bars. E, F, E. Right, so we do need to move back there once we're done. Can you see that? Bum, 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 bum. I move straight back to the E7 chord for the last bar, right? Okay, so just practice this third bar. And again. Okay, now the last bar is not actually very difficult. We have our E7 shape and we play. So the first two notes are a little quicker. Alright, so just work on that. And then the last few notes, just changing to the B string to the G string, right? Okay, not too tricky. So the last two bars all together are 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're back into the main section again. Alright, there is a play along at the end, but let's just play this B section together a little slowly. Alright, after 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, very tricky. Pause the video and practice each section as much as you need to, guys, before we move on to the final part. Alright, what I'm forgetting this far, guys, we're almost there. We just need to look at this final A section because we can have a really cool ending to the whole song, okay? Obviously, it's going to start the same, the whole A section. It's the same. Second line's the same. Then, this bit is where we're going to have a cool ending. Neither Spiderman. Get that nice minor 9 on the end. Okay, this sounds complicated, but it is just the same 2 bars repeated 3 times, right? So we just have to learn 2 bars here. We're going to repeat it 3 times. Alright, so first of all, you'll notice this part's the same. That bit is actually the same, right? But we want to move to our A minor shape. So make sure you land on your 3rd finger for that final note on G2, alright? Because we need to have the A minor shape here as a chord. Right, for the rest of the song, we were probably landing on finger 2, right? Dun, dun, dun. But here we need to land on finger 3, so you need to bring it up, dun, 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 and get your A minor chord in position, okay? Now, the ending part is going to sound like this. Right, a little tricky. The first bar is actually quite simple. We have an A minor shape here and we play 2, 3, 4. So we're just alternating thumb and index finger on the A and D string. You can bring the pinky down onto A3. 2, 3, 4. Really simple. You can practice the whole ending part, linking it together now. Okay, this final bar we need to learn essentially a E7 again, but we have to get that flat 9 as well, which is a little tricky. So just start with the first 4 notes. Can you see we have bass note, then 3 notes, bass note, 3 notes. The first finger is sort of barred here because you have to cover 2 notes with the first finger, like so. Now you can just hammer on that pinky as you hit that 3rd bass note. So the pinky comes down onto B3 as you hit the bass note. Right? Like that. Then, in the last 2 notes, we play E and B string at the same time. Then, bring your 3rd finger in your whole A minor shape for that very last note, because we need it to be ready for the next bar. Right? Then we can keep going. All right, we're going to repeat the whole thing. So we do this 3 times. 1. And again, 2. Then, to end it, we're going to jump up to the 11th fret here on the E string, with the pinky, just on that last bar. Now you have time to move there, by the way, because you have 2 open strings you don't need the hand for. So we just move to fret 11 with the pinky and get it ready. Then you can add the other notes for that final A minor 9 chord. Da, da. Alright, for the other fingers, you want to have 3rd finger here on D11, right, directly above the pinky. Then you can have the 1st finger here covering G9 and B9 as well. So, da, da. You can take your time with it, getting the fingers ready, and then one final strum with the nails to finish off. So the last 2 lines, let's do the whole thing together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright guys, that is everything. The play along is coming up now, so my advice to you is to play it slowly first. You can slow down the YouTube video, don't forget. You just click the little settings cog, 0.7 playback speed, and that will slow it right down for you, which means you can practice to a slower speed. Once you can play through the slower speed very well, then try the full speed, alright? If you found this lesson helpful, guys, please give it a thumbs up, a like, and make sure you subscribe as well. Hit the notification bell icon for me too. Good luck with the play along. I'll see you in the next video.